everybody? Back at Bengals Army. I got a special guest, good buddy Dale Altman up here. So,
what's up, Dusty?
If you guys don't know Dale, you should, because he's got an awesome podcast. He's been doing it for a year and a few months now. Really grateful for having you on, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, look at that.
Got to rep the Bengals Brews, you know.
Yes, sir. Dale's helped me out a lot on this. He's helped me get to where I feel comfortable doing this. So I have been on his show a few times, even though, just some random cat and came buddies, and he's let me get on there and talk some football. Dale, anything you want to say to start us out?
No, man, Dusty's a good dude. I met one of the other guys that's going to be on it at the game before, right? Gosh, what was his name? Tony. I met Tony and you, and then I don't know who else you guys have doing it, but I'm sure, man, it's all a bunch of good dudes, people that served our country. So obviously I've told you before, thank you for that service, man. And
yes,
I think it's awesome. You guys all love the Bengals. Anybody that loves the Bengals and you want to do a show, man, you just got to go for it. That's something that's like you go for it, you record them, you have fun. Make sure you keep having fun. If it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Like that's something when we're doing it, and it's like you're like, okay, I'm not having fun right now, and you just got to communicate that too. Sometimes it's like, hey, guys, we got to make this still fun. You want to be informative, you want to be fun, you want to do all that. But yeah, man, I think you guys will kill it. I mean, you've been on my show, you know your stuff. That's the main thing. Like people will know if you don't know your stuff real quick, but you know your stuff, and I'm sure the other guys do too. So that's half the battle right there.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. So a little info on me and Dale's history. So he had a show with Clark Harris, and if nobody's watched that show, highly recommend it. It's funny. It's long, so you can piece it up, or you can just do what I did and listen to the whole thing through. But just so happened I had a little stuff going on last year. Some unfortunate things with some family. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I needed a good laugh, and I love listening to Bengals podcast. So logged on Spotify and found Bengals and Brews, and then Dale's show came up, and I started listening to the Clark Harris episode, and I was laughing, felt good and happy, and I sent him a message like, dude, I need that laugh, and he texted me back, which wasn't really expecting a message back, and after that we started talking, became real good friends. So like I've said 100 times, Dale, I appreciate you, man, and I'm glad that episode was dropped, and I was able to hear it when I did, because it was a good time for me to hear it.
Yeah, man, Clark's a good dude. We didn't expect to have him for over 3 hours, and that's what ended up happening. I'm asking him, we're 30 minutes in, 40 minutes in. I'm like, you sure you don't have to go? He's like, you trying to get rid of me? I'm like, nah, man, we can keep going. Like,
yeah, old boy was putting them back too.
It was therapeutic, I think, for a lot of us. It's always nice to have a good laugh and have some fun. So we were just as surprised as I think a lot of the viewers. Like, how'd you get Clark Harris for that long? Well, that wasn't the plan. We didn't know. He just kept hanging around. So we had a good time with him. Good dude.
Oh yeah. Also, gotta give a shout out to my barber.
It's a fresh cut.
Anthony. He's my barber down at Vaughn's Barber Shop. So talk to him. He said he's going to listen to the podcast. Didn't tell him I was going to give him a shout out, but now I'm going to know, Anthony, if you watched the show or if you didn't, buddy, because you're going to hear this shout out, and I better get a little discount too.
I was about to say that should at least be 50% off, something, free publicity.
Heck yeah, I need to get a deal, Anthony. So I'll see you next week when I'm in there to get trimmed up again, buddy. Dale, let's talk a little draft, okay?
Hey, I'm obsessed, man. Me and you, that's something else we bond over.
Yes, sir. I know. Dale loves his draft. He loves looking into players, and I love it too. First round last year, we both had a player in mind that we really wanted that got swept right before us, George Karlaftis. But
yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt last year because one pick before us, and I didn't expect him to make it that far.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yep, I remember us talking about him. Was a little disheartened that he got took from us, but this year, the guy that I wanted that fell, Miles Murphy. Who was your guy, Dale? Because I have another guy and I'll let you know. But I don't think it's going to be the same guy.
That's the thing. I don't know. I had a guy this year as much as I was like, I'm going to be happy with a lot of these guys, and I could have seen us going so many directions. Like I think everyone got super excited. We did a live draft show with Iceman and stuff, and we had several people on there, and everybody was like, they were mad. I just kind of sat there. I was quiet, but they were all mad because everything was flowing in that made it look like Michael Mayer, like Tyler
Yeah.
sweet and stuff, like go Irish and all this stuff, and seemed like the logical thing there was the Bengals are going to scoop up the local guy and Michael Mayer, but they went a different route and they took a defensive end who is a more premium position, and it's a guy who had a clear first round grade in Murphy. Like I liked Van Ness as well, and I mean
that was the dude I was going to say.
as a comparison, he went 13th. So like
Yep.
to get one of them, then at 28, because the Bengals are good. We're not picking in the top 5 anymore, and that's the thing. I think that's why it's easier to like try to say, okay, we could go several different directions, and I'd be happy with.
Mm-hmm.
I know everybody liked Emmanuel Forbes. I did too. I watched something today. The Red Commanders were all in on him. They took him at 16, but they were trying to trade up. They kept talking about trading up with New England. New England wanted the extra third, so it didn't work out for them. New England, there ended up being some other trades in there and different things, but New England went with Christian Gonzalez. I was shocked he fell that far, the corner, but I mean Forbes, ball hawk. He's light, like 163. That was the big knock on him, but KNC going 19th. Bengals Twitter loved KNC. I like him too as a 3 tech. But I never thought he was getting there. Like watching his tape, he's special for this class about, interior pass rush. There just wasn't a lot of guys that had that skill set. But beyond that, like I'm looking here at how the draft went. After KNC at 19, I don't know that there's anybody I would have been like, oh, we should take them over Murphy.
Dalton Kincaid went at 23.
Yeah, and I wasn't as high. I think the Bengals were in on him, but I mean that's just from having Dan Horde and different people on our show and Jay Morrison. They made it sound like Kincaid was pretty high on their list. I don't know that, but those guys usually have some inside information. I worried about the injuries and different things. Now he could have been an explosive playmaker, and that's why I don't know that Mayer was really on their list because it sounds like Zach Taylor come out. I don't know if you've seen that. And it seemed like they liked Kincaid, and they also liked Laporta. They wanted the more mobile type of tight end. Did you like any of those guys at the tight end more than the others?
Honestly, I like Mayer because he's got that. I feel like he's a reliable option. He just seems like a dude that could step in and be somebody that we need. Like, I just think he's somebody. He's somebody that is a Bengals tight end for this team. That might sound weird or whatever. You have other players that went higher. I think Sam Laporta, did he go a few picks after he went in the second?
He went one pick before Mayer. He went at 34 to Detroit, and then the Raiders traded up to get Mayer. The next pick, they were worried somebody was going to snag him before they could get him.
Yeah. And I definitely wasn't that high. Like I like Sam Laporta, but I wasn't that high. In tight end, first round, I wanted to take a corner or a tight end, edge rusher.
Yeah, premium position, right? We don't need the quarterback. Those are two of your highest premium positions. Besides O tackle, did you have anybody at O tackle that you wanted to in that mix potentially?
I didn't like Antoine Harrison. Anton Harrison, whatever his name was.
Anton.
I was not high on him at all. I thought I don't know. I'm not a big offensive guru, but there was nothing about him that excited me. So I was glad we didn't take him. DeJuan Jones, a mammoth.
Fourth round.
He definitely wasn't somebody I wanted that early, but he fell, and there's definitely times I was like, okay, like, dude, like I wouldn't mind taking him, but we have a lot of depth right now on the offensive line. Like a lot of people want to cut Jonah, Lyle Collins, all these people. It's like, look what happened last year, which if the funds are there and these funds can be allocated towards T. Higgins and Joe and Jamar, I get that. But if they're not going to be, but let's get there this year and let's not worry about that depth. And that came to bite us in the butt. So not really wanting that. And if we could have drafted somebody there, just at the time, there was nobody there that I felt worthy of that pick.
I agree. And
Miles
Harrison went
Murphy,
before. Like, I don't know if we'd have been in on Harrison. It sounds like we might have, but he's also played left tackle, and we just got Orlando Brown. It's like, are we going to have the same problem trying to transition somebody to right tackle? Like, Jonah doesn't necessarily, you know what I mean? We don't know what. Yeah. And moving people around like Carmen, that's kind of bit us in the butt, having Carmen and trying to move him all over the line, which he's in that conversation to be right tackle. And seems like he's starting to really, take football more seriously. And I only say that, like, I don't know the behind the scenes, but it seemed like he was in Frank Pollock's doghouse quite often the last couple of years. And now you got Frank and the rest of the coaches singing his praises about how hard he's working, what he's put in, and they say he's right in that mix to be a starter. So I think he's at least made that step mentally. But if Jonah's there, I don't see them setting $13 million on the bench,
I don't either.
Because they would have tried to get rid of him. They would have traded him. The Jags were interested. Different teams were interested, prior to the draft. So I do think they want to keep him at right tackle, and they think he'll report and that he'll be at least average. That's the thing. Everybody wants to argue, and it's like he's a serviceable tackle in the NFL. He's not elite. He's not great. You wouldn't even say he's good. He's average. And 3 years ago, we were begging for average offensive linemen on this team.
Exactly. 100%. And he last year he battled through a lot of injuries. He toughed it out for the team, and I respect that out of somebody that's going to grind. He's going to get in there and he's going to fight through those injuries. I mean, what more can you want from somebody, especially an offensive lineman like Frank Pollock preaches glass eaters, And somebody's got a knee dislocated and he might have been out. Was he out one game? Or was he like half a game? Like
it wasn't much. He finished the one, and then he got it re-injured, right?
His other one, his opposite leg.
Yeah.
So, I like having Jonah on the roster. He played right tackle his freshman year in college, I believe. So it's not like he hasn't played. I get the money aspect, but if you cut him, we had this conversation on the phone the other day. He will be just dead money. It's gone.
Yeah, why would you? So, there's no reason to cut him.
Yeah, so I'd rather keep him on the team for depth. If you don't get the value for him, are you going to find a Jonah Williams for a fifth round in the fifth round? I mean, that's a needle in a haystack. You're not going to find a Jonah Williams in the fifth round. As much as you want to hate on him, it is what it is. I mean, a couple years ago, he was our best offensive lineman. Not saying much because the O-line wasn't good, but I think there's an argument to be made to have as much depth as we can, keep number 9 upright, and let's go. It's going to be much improved. I think the players that we have on that offensive line now has had a year to gel together. Last year, everything was pushed together. We had 3 new starters, or 4 new starters.
It took them a while to gel.
4/5 of the line. Yeah. And then they started to gel, and things probably after week 4 started improving. Things started to improve. And then unfortunately the injuries came, and we had some depth pieces that was able to step in. Like you said before, Carmen Jackson. Carmen Jackson came in against the Ravens and just pushed old boy into the sideline. And I was like, dude, I like that. Like, let's go. So I like the potential. I like the upside that Jackson Carman could bring out. And he's been working out. He's talked about his offseason training. Like you said, he's taking it more serious. So I'm definitely pleased with the way the offensive line's shaking out. Not saying it's going to be a top 5 offensive line, but I could easily see us being a top 12 offensive line. I think we'll be an above average offensive line.
That's all we need. Yeah, that's all we need. If we're in that top half of the NFL teams for offensive line, having Lou back as our D coordinator, that's still probably the biggest, re-signing to me, is he's such an elite defensive coordinator. In the biggest games, he comes up with the craziest game plans. The mad scientist, Lou Anarumo, man, we all love him, and I'm so happy he's back. Like, obviously, for his sake, I'm like, it'd be cool if he got a head coach job, because there's only 32 of those. It's special. They keep passing him up. We're happy to have him back, because he is a boss as a defense coordinator. But having him back, having Adam Miles Murphy, Joseph Asai, we all think should take the next step on that defensive line. Yeah, you lost your safeties, but you prepared for part of that by drafting Dax Hill last year. You brought in Nick Scott this year, and that Jordan Battle pick in the draft, I love it. Like the initial thing was like, okay, we're not going to take one, but then you take one, you're like, this is a 4-year player at Bama. This is a captain. This is a leader. This is a guy who got on the field early at Bama. That's not a thing.
And look where the first 2 dudes went in the draft. The other captains. I think it might have been Greg that mentioned that on the show. Give a shout out to Greg. I'm not going to take his flowers there.
Shout out Gregor.
Yeah. So pretty sure it was him. If it was pork chop, sorry, buddy. But yeah, he mentioned that, and I was just like, dude, that I knew he was a captain, but when you look at the company that he was with, it's impressive. And I like Dax Hill. And we talked about this before. When Dax Hill got picked, he was who I thought was best man up that I personally liked. Did I think we needed him? No. Did I think we was going to lose both safeties in free agency this year? I didn't. I thought we'd probably lose Jesse, but I thought Von Bell would be somebody we got back. But we got Jermaine Pratt. I feel like that was kind of the compromise. I think it was going to be one or the other. And Pratt, he made some big plays. Look what he did with Travis Kelce this past year. Stripped the ball from him and made a huge play. The year before that, he had the interception there in the playoff game against the Raiders. Jermaine Pratt is starting to come along, and I love having him on the team. I don't know if it was between him and Von Bell. I think I would have gone with Pratt. But what about yourself?
I don't think you could have went wrong with either one, and I think we knew we were probably getting one of the 3 back. Now, I think everybody just expected the way Pratt got mad at Osai and, was yelling that it was pretty much he was done here. We didn't expect him to be the one to come back, but the linebacker market dried up real quick, and overall, like, him and Wilson as a linebacker tandem is, to me, one of the better ones in the NFL. So having that and keeping that intact is great. Now, yes, we had a pretty good safety tandem that we lost, but I know Von Bell, that leadership is hard to replace, right? But if there's one thing under Zach Taylor, we brought in and we keep drafting so many captains, so many leaders. Mike Hilton, is a leader. Cheeto is a leader. These guys are now just going to be filling that role. And Bell, a very good player, but honestly, like Von Bell, when we got him, I loved it. Because I thought, it's a young guy on the uprise, and it was a later pick in free agency. But not that many people were like, this is going to be a franchise-changing move here to get Von Bell, in free agency. To me, it was a shift because that's when we were signing some other guys. Like, all right, we're actually doing this free agency thing now, huh? And we continue to do it, and evidenced by bringing in Orlando Brown this year. But getting Jordan Battle, because even if Nick Scott, and I think Nick Scott's going to be very good, he's going to play under Lou freaking Anarumo, so that's only going to help him.
Defensive back guru.
And he's solid. He was already solid with the Rams, but I think that can only help him. Like Von Bell got better here under Lou, and Dax Hill is a first-round pick for a reason, and he played really good in the preseason. It's like people forget that. They just forget that. They're like, he didn't have a huge impact in the season. It's like, okay, he was playing his natural spot for Jesse Bates in the preseason. Then you're moving him around, and he's doing all this, which kudos to him. He's that talented that they can trust to move him around. But, your impact's not going to be as huge when you're playing a different spot every week. And, this year he's getting a focus on that one spot, and he can still move around and do different things. I'm excited to see him as a blitzer because that was something on his Michigan tape that he's fast, very man. Good at.
He's a shot out of the cannon, man. You take him. There's so much speed in that defensive back room, and there's so much stuff Lou can do with that speed. I mean, look at I think it was Mike Hilton that had that hit on Derrick Henry where he came in and was blitzing. It just popped Derrick Henry. I think it was. I could be wrong. So
then he had Josh Allen, a couple huge hits on Josh Allen. That dude's a freaking tank at quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Hilton don't care, man.
He puts his nose in there and just goes, man. You got to love Mike Hilton. I really do think Dax Hill is going to take that step, because when you're a rookie and you're playing multiple positions in the defensive backfield, that's tough. I don't care how elite you are. It's a very difficult thing to do. And if he was playing, the more he played, there's a reason for that. Somebody's banged up. There's an issue with the players we had on the field. So it was good for him to sit behind for a year. That was kind of Marvin Lewis's thing. Oh, draft somebody, let them sit behind somebody for a year, and then we'll then bring them in their sophomore year. That happened a lot. I know it got annoying after a while, but there was no reason to have him out there right now and just let him learn with those guys. And this year, let's see what happens. But I remember during the preseason, he had a pass break up in the end zone and just looked super athletic. It was kind of the back corner of the end zone, I believe, and just almost intercepted it. And I was like,
that's what I was going to say. He was pissed he didn't intercept it.
Yeah, I was like, all right, let's go. Like I was excited about the pick. I was definitely happy with the way he played in the preseason, and I really didn't care that he wasn't on the field that much. I was perfectly fine with that, because the team we have, when you're a Super Bowl contending team, you don't have a lot of missing pieces. You might have a few here and there, but overall, your team's pretty set. And that's what we were, and that's what we still are. And we replenished those players that we lost last year. Now, granted, Jesse Bates is a great player. We all love him, don't want to see him go. But we filled those positions either the year before or this year in free agency and the draft. And like we said, Jordan Battle, he's a thumper. Like all our defensive backs, they're all willing to tackle. They're not kind of the Will Jackson mold. They're not what Tennessee call us a finesse. We're not a finesse defense. And our defensive backs are willing to tackle. I was talking to somebody at work the other day who's a big Bengals fan, and he was like, man, I'm concerned about these young players in the defensive backfield. And I'm like, dude, Cam Taylor-Britt is a dude.
I was waiting on us to get there as you were talking about these guys.
Yes. Cam Taylor-Britt is the dude. And we got Cheeto, and he was playing a top 5 corner last year.
Easy Pro Bowl level.
Yes. And super unfortunately he got hurt, but he's coming back. And Eli Apple, as much as people want to hate on him, and yes, his antics are a little annoying, but Eli, look at his stats, and his statistic output was very good. And for what we got him for, he was above what we paid. And I personally would not mind having Eli back to put. Will it happen? Probably not. But if we brought him back, would I be mad about it? I wouldn't be mad. I love edge rushers. I love defensive line, offensive line, in defensive backs. If you can get pressure on the quarterback, that makes your defensive backs better. If you have the defensive line that we have, that's a good containing defensive line, a good run stopping defensive line, and you finish that with a good defensive backfield, it's very hard to do anything. And if you have one of those two things, look at the Eagles last year. They had pretty good defensive backs, and they had an elite defensive line, and it showed. And so I would love for the Bengals to be able to replicate that. And I think with the speed we have in the defensive back room, we got some young players, but overall, these guys are going to learn, they're going to mold, and we had to get them because of what we're going to pay on offense.
Yeah, and just the investment we've had in that secondary the last 2 years, and mostly through the draft. Like now when we really needed it, we went out and we got Cheeto in free agency. We got Mike Hilton, and we had those guys. But now knowing, like you said, that we were going to have to pay the offense, we've invested in that. Cam Taylor-Britt, we invested Dax Hill last year. First 2 picks, we went secondary, and that's 2 starters, for this year, as safety and corner. This year, maybe again here in a year from now, we're saying, okay, here's our other starting corner and our other starting safety that we got in the second and third the following year. So, because DJ Turner 4.2, what was it, 4.26 speed?
6. Yeah.
Whew, that's unreal.
Cooking, baby.
Yeah, and dude is very good. Cam Taylor-Britt's in the 4.3s, and like you said, he can hit. Like, he played at such an elite. He was our best secondary player in the playoffs. Period.
Yeah.
That's Bates, that's Bell, that's everybody. Darn near.
You're going to mess up with darn, but not earlier.
he's darn near.
You're fine.
No, I'm trying, okay? My show,
I know, I can see
a lot
it.
of bombs fly, guys, and I'm really trying here because, when I come on someone else's show, it's not like that. But anyways, so darn near, maybe the best player on defense overall was Cam Taylor-Britt in the playoffs. Like, he was just shut down. He shut down Stephon Diggs. That's no easy task. Like, that's one of the, everyone says, top 5 receivers in the game. And I would agree that he's up there in that top 5. If he's not 5, he's 6. Like, he's in that top 5. And Cam Taylor-Britt, as a rookie, was able to do what he did against him, and he's not afraid to come up and hit anybody. And, we've been fortunate enough to get to know his mom and dad and stuff like that through the show, and Iceman had him on, and I was fortunate enough to be part of that interview. And then we got to meet him in person and different things. But that's what they've said. He's always been like that. He played quarterback in high school, but he loves to hit. Like, as a kid, his nickname was Bam Bam. Everybody in the family called him Bam Bam. Like, he's just always been that kid, He's just full of energy.
His parents said, and this has been a minute since I've seen that interview with him, but they said when he was playing quarterback, he didn't stray away from the contact. He seeked it. And they were like, hey, dude, like, we get it. You like to bang, but let's back off because we got things after this. And so you gotta love that. It's just sometimes things are just in you. Like, it's hard to get them out. Some people have bad attitudes. Ask my wife. I might get a little irritated every now and then with certain things, and might watch the game and silly things might happen. She might be like, dude, it's just a game. Chill out. I'm like, no, it's more than a game. It's more than that right now. And then there's some people who are like, and they can be passive or whatever. But there's football players that have that switch, and when it's time to go out and hit and play, their nose are down. They're going for it. They're a dog after food.
Well, that's another thing, thinking back to that interview, because they brought Cam on, which was super cool to get to talk to him. We didn't even realize the Iceman's like freezing up. If anybody, I'm talking about sport. It's now Bengals Talk with Strawberry Ice for anybody who don't know what I'm talking about if you watch this, but a lot of people do. He's been doing a show for like 5 years. So good dude, one of our buddies. Sure, Dusty and them will probably be trying to get him on here sometime.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff. Hop on here, dog.
Yeah, don't be a little baby, Jeff.
I know you outdid
it. But no, Cam come on, and it's the day before the game, and he's just so like chill, and that's, and I'm like, oh, what's your nickname, Juice? Like and he's like, he looked up at that camera, and he's like, you're gonna see Juice tomorrow. Like, dude saves it, man. He chills. That old man, like, he's just like chill, low key. Man, he flips that switch like you were talking about. He gets on that football field, and he is a dog.
Speaking of flipping the switch, Trey Hendrickson.
He's blackout Trey.
Like, blackout Trey, man. That dude. And this is what I love about the Miles Murphy talk, or the Miles Murphy pick. And I don't mean to move conversations, but when you're talking about that switch, man, he is I don't know how anybody doesn't love Trey. Like, he is just what you want in a player. He's got that motor. He doesn't want in. I think it was DJ Reader that was talking about it. Trey doesn't want to call up the field. DJ's like, dude, I'll take a breather. I mean, DJ's a big boy. Like, it's what's best for the team. And when you want to be out there, I get it, man. Like, you don't want to take a play off. You just want to go. And he having this rotation that we have is going to make life so much easier for Trey and for Sam. And I really do. I really think we're going to be up in like the 45s in sacks this year. And this defense really isn't based around that. we kind of really good against the run and also contain these quarterbacks, put pressure on them. Our defensive backs have been solid force. Our linebackers, how many years did we complain about the linebackers?
We don't give up big plays, like we don't give up
Mhm.
big plays in the secondary like we used to. And that's another
Yeah.
part of the tackling. I think I said that
Yeah.
the other day on the show. It's like, you're not going to see those Lamar Jackson highlights where he's spinning and running through the whole secondary because these guys are
That was
coming
Nick
to smack him
Vigil.
in the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. That Nick
That's
Vigil
the whole.
play.
That's the whole secondary. That's a lot of people, that
Yeah.
no one could get it. Like, our defense just plays as a team so much better. Like, I feel like we spent this whole time talking about our defense, though.
I know we have, man. But defense
easy
is
to
fun
do.
to me. Defense is fun. Like, there's nothing better than watching a team go out there and get some 3-and-outs or just getting to that 40-yard line and just, all right, let's put the clamps on. They're not getting a field goal. At worst, they're getting a field goal. I love it.
I think we should. I want your opinion because I know this is your show, but I got to get your opinion on when Orlando Brown signed for your audience and for your viewers. Like, because to me, I mean, it's late at night, and I thought it was one of them fake accounts at first. I'm not gonna lie. So then I was like hyped. I was about to go to bed, and I'm like, oh, And my wife and kids are like, "What is wrong with you?" And it's like Orlando Brown. Dude, so that was my reaction. What was yours?
So, I think we talked about this on your show. In the reaction I had was I was messing around on my phone and stuff, looking, and then I was watching TV and playing with my daughter. And Tony, the guy that's on here, he texts me and he said something like, "Wow," he's like, "Wow, dude, can you believe this?" Or he said something along those lines, and I was just like, thought it was maybe a tight end. I forget what tight ends were available. Like, maybe we got like a Dalton Schultz or somebody. And I was
Foster Moreau. Well, that was later. We were in on Foster Moreau a little later.
Yeah. So
that was still that first wave-ish.
Yeah. I wasn't sure, honestly, who it was. Orlando Brown was so far down on this order of this list that I was just like, oh, probably a good signing. Like, cool. Or maybe it was a trade or something. I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I get on, look, and I see Orlando Brown. I'm like, no way, bro. I was like that. I almost didn't believe it. And it happened. And Orlando Brown's going to be the difference maker in having a Pro Bowl, a Pro Bowl left tackle, multiple Pro Bowls, playing with Ted Karras, and you have Cardell Bolson.
I was gonna say Bolson getting to play between those guys.
You have those dudes to your left and right, man. It is in just like I said this on your show, and I know my show's new, so you guys probably heard it on Dale's before this, but I'll say it again. When you have those two dudes beside you, you're going to play better. When you go from a year one rookie, fourth round pick from a small school to playing in the NFL and stepping in like he did, it's going to be a difference. He's going to take a step, and he's definitely going to take a step having these guys around him. And not only that, look who's hanging around Ted when he's out doing his events and stuff. Who's there with him? He's in, even when they did the game ball this past year during the playoffs, took the game ball out. Cardell Bolson was there. He has took him under his wing. The kid is a monster. He is going to progress, and I'm excited for it. I think that left side of the line is going to be highly improved, and you have Alex Kappa. Alex Kappa is possibly a Pro Bowl right guard.
He played at that level last year. Yes,
he is a dude as well. So the line in general, if you have one weak spot on the line, and you have Lyle Collins, and you have Jonah Williams, and you have Jackson Carman, and those three are fighting it out for the position, that line's going to be good. It's going to be the best line we've seen since 2015. Not saying it's going to be the 2015 line, but it'll be the best line we've seen since then. And it's going to be much improved. They have time to gel together. Lyle and Lyle and Jonah are getting healthy right now, but we'll see how things pan out. And when you have that problem where you say, man, I don't know about this one position, but we have three starters, three guys that could start on a lot of teams. Now, Jackson Carman, you could argue about it, whatever, I don't care. But he's still a decent player from what he showed in the past few games. And he was a second-round draft pick. He's going to get his chances. If that's your problem, dude, I love it. I do. Like, let me have a problem where these dudes are battling out. Look what happened last year with depth. And we talked about it earlier. I don't want to worry about depth on the offensive line. I don't want to come into the playoffs with three starters, 3/5 of your offensive line out. And nobody wants to get credit about this, but three offensive starters, 3/5 of your line. That means you have two starters that are playing in the playoffs, and you go and you beat the Ravens. Solid defense. The Ravens defense, I'll let them know, they have a good defense. They play us tough. They're AFC North football. It was a tough game. Then we play the Bills, and the Bills are a good team. To go up there and play and dominate the way we did it's impressive. And then you have Max Sharping. I don't know where he's going to fall out here, but there's players that have played important games in big time moments.
Been starters in the NFL. Him, Cody Ford, even, who I'm like, his PFF stuff ain't great, but he started in this league. Him, Max Sharping, like that's some of your backups at guard.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting on a rampage right there. Just going.
Well, that's what I'm just like. I'm looking at the depth chart, and I'm like, which Adeniji. Yeah, and even Jackson Kirkland, man. I kind of hope Jackson Kirkland, the undrafted free agent, could stick around because he's got talent. He's just injured at Washington a lot. But that kid has got a boatload of talent. And he played tackle and he can play guard. And he's a big dude, too. Like, at some point, if him and Volson end up being your guard, and this would be down the road when Cap is not here or something. You've got a line of just a bunch of dudes that are like 6'7". Just your whole line. Teddy's like 6'3", 6'4", but
dude, if you want to keep going over that, you can. If not, I can edit this. But my dog's barking. I need to go check on him real quick. If you got the input that you want to,
I can continue here with the offense.
Okay,
and I can
keep
talk
going
about our draft picks. Our draft picks on offense.
Let's do it.
All right, buddy. So, welcome to Bengals Army. I did not serve in the Army. My father did, so that's another cool thing, being asked to be part of this show. My father has since passed away, but obviously I support military. Got a lot of friends and family who have served. Neither here nor there, really, but I did want to mention my father served. I miss my father. Named after my father. Loved my father. He was a teacher. I'm a teacher. It's a little background on me. But yeah, so we didn't take an offensive player in the draft till the 4th round. Chuck Sizzle, Charlie Jones. So we took Chuck Sizzle, a.k.a. Charlie Jones, his actual name. Receiver that's a little older. I think he's going to be 25 or so. Originally at Buffalo, then transferred to Iowa. And in Iowa, he was like getting awards for being a returner. But Iowa just does not throw the ball to anybody. Sam Laporta a little bit. But then you have, so then he transferred again to Purdue, links up with Aiden O'Connell, who he played high school ball with, and has just a breakout season. I can't remember, 1,300, 1,400 yards, and just explodes onto this scene. Still, like, I think day one for the Bengals, Charlie Jones is probably your punt returner, potentially your kick returner if you need him, but they're literally phasing out kick returns in the NFL. With that, especially with that new rule. So I don't know that he would even go back to. I think Travion Williams still stays as your kick returner, but a lot of times you just take the ball to 25 one way or the other, whether it's kick down the end zone or you fair catch it. A lot of times it's just going to be at the 25. So that's Charlie Jones. What do you think of old Chuck Sizzle, Dustin?
Dude, I love Chuck Sizzle, man. I I think he's what we need for this team. I think he's a great fit. To have that kick returner that is dangerous. I like having that option. Somebody that's pretty short-handed. In the last time, a lot of people forget Alex Eckerson. That dude during the preseason, man, I think he returned two kickoffs for a touchdown. And how exciting was that when we had not Brandon Tate. Brandon Tate? Was it Brandon Tate that we had?
Yeah, Brandon Tate was
boring.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then you get this young cat, undrafted dude comes in and just starts going crazy. And it was exciting. And
see my Luke Combs beer? You get these 16 ounces, you get Luke Combs beer.
Dude, there you go. Old Luke Combs is that dude, man. But back to you're all right. You made me. I was trying to think of that song Hurricane, and I was trying to think of how to like tie that into that beer, and I was like, I don't know. That's totally different. That's a liquor drink. But anyways, I think I'm excited for it. Learning behind these guys, and he's older. I think he's older than everybody but Tyler Boyd. I
mentioned that. So, I think he's like 25 or something.
Yeah, which I don't care. Like, if it makes the team better right now, and he's a 4th-round pick, I don't care.
We're trying to win now, not 3 years from, We want to do both.
Yeah. Let's keep this thing going. And if you can get this dude with a lot of potential to come in that does multiple things for you, bring him in, welcome him.
Well, Boyd said, if I had been healthy, we would have won the AFC championship game easily. I got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you've got this backup who can go in and get open from the slot. I won't say just as well because Tyler Boyd is a technician, a freaking stud in the slot. But anywhere close to that, somebody that can give you that, because that's not Trenton Irwin. Trenton Irwin's very solid, but he's not Tyler Boyd. And Charlie Jones, he's got the speed, he's got the hands. I mean, he had three drops or something and 154 targets.
Yeah,
like that's insane.
Yep. And 1,300 yards, like 1,300 yards in the Big Ten. That's something. And you pick that up in the 4th round. I mean, and to learn behind Tyler Boyd's a team player, just like you were saying. Tyler Boyd, he had his little conference and stuff. And he was saying, the front office loves me. I love this team. I'm here. He didn't have to be there. Trey Henderson last year, he took time with his family. There's players that take time with their family, and it happens. Tyler Boyd, he has a family. Like, he didn't have to come back yet, and he did because he loves this team. You can genuinely tell, and that's just who he is. He's always been very truthful in his press conferences. He's always been vocal, and he's that vocal leader, and I think that has a big part with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Their development is having this guy that they trust, that the team trusts, that's in that locker room. It's easy to have a player that's wide receiver number 5, that's a veteran, that can kind of make you feel good. But Tyler Boyd is a dude. Like, he is a guy that he's had 1,000-yard season. Like, he's not just somebody that a morale person. He's more than that. He's more than that for the team. He will do what's best for the team as well. He's a true leader. And if he speaks his mind to us in press conferences, like he said, who was it? Might have been Pittsburgh when we played them. He said those boys quit. He said they quit. Now that's a confident dude to say we made them quit.
He's from there,
and he's from there, man. And he had a great game. And he said that. I can remember listening to the interview and was like, man, that's that's a, you can take it as cocky, but it's a confident thing, and that resonates through the locker room. And his word means something to these guys. And you have him what I'm trying to get at, this is long-winded, but if you got this dude that everyone trusts that has been that guy before, it's going to take this rookie to the next level. He's going to be able to develop behind this guy. And if you're looking at him to fill the role, Tyler Boyd is the perfect player to have teach this young guy and teach him how to be
even
a
if he's not teaching him, just watch him. Watch about how he goes about his business. Watch how he plays the game.
Yeah.
Watch him run his routes,
Yeah, just what you can learn from him in
Mm-hmm.
his overall presence. Like, leaders develop leaders, right? Like, it's a fact. Like, if I don't want to get into Army stuff, but a good leader will develop a good leader most of the time. And bad leaders, they can develop good leaders as well, because hey, this guy
I don't
wasn't.
want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to be this guy.
Yeah.
So leadership is a very important thing. That's something Tyler Boyd brings to this team. And if you have Charlie Jones learning behind these dudes, and he's older, so he's already mature, and he seems like a pretty intelligent guy. He's had good production. There's nothing not to love about him. I love the pick.
Yeah,
I also know another pick you love.
And his nickname is Chuck Sizzle. But yeah, I have to before we end this one today, I have to talk about Chase Brown. I just think that was a steal in the 5th round, man. I knew that I had it like, if we would have taken him in the third at the end of the 3rd round, I'd have been like, okay, I see it, I get it. You know, I'm okay with that because he can be a workhorse. He's solid catching the ball. That's what everyone don't get. And like PFF stat wise and stuff, he's a willing blocker, and he graded out as a fairly solid blocker compared to like almost every other running back. Like, there was a couple who were good, but not very many. Like, it's not something that you do in college. So like projecting that is very hard. It's just a hard thing to do, for people that are draft analysts, I'm sure, for even the Bengals. But it's like, the dude's willing. He's a hard worker. Like, he can carry the load because he had to do that at Illinois. He had to carry that whole freaking offense basically on his back. And his like one cut ability and his ability to make guys miss in the open field, but he can grind out the short yardage stuff. Like, I just love everything about Chase Brown because and sometimes you can just get the vibe off someone that you're like, they're going to work so hard until they make it.
Yeah, him and his brother have that. They have, and not only just the physical traits and the mindset and the ability, but they have somebody to lean on. So you go into this with your brother, rookie years, you have somebody that you trust that you can talk to. You can talk to this. So you're going to gain a different. If days are going bad, he's got somebody else outside of the team he can lean on and talk to that actually understands this grind of a rookie year. And that might be a very small, minute thing, but those little things add up. And when you're pushing for a championship, you start adding these little things up. It makes a difference. And like you said, the dude was highly productive. He was somebody I really liked him. I put a thing out on Twitter a few days before the draft about how much I like the dude. And like you said, 3rd round, 4th round, I would have been just as happy, honestly. Yeah. And to get him in the 5th round is, I feel like, a steal. Now, he has tread on his tires, but it never slowed him down before. Like, he's still got miles on there. He doesn't have no.
And us having Mixon and Travion, he shouldn't have to do that here, especially early on. So, if anything, he's going to be like, oh, I'm fresh during the season.
Yeah, he's not carrying the ball 25 carries in, and I think he still averaged, I think it was like around 5 yards a carry, and he was carrying the ball, and that could be wrong. You guys can fact check me. Pretty sure that's what it was. It was around 5 yards a carry at a Big Ten level. He's going to be productive. Now, letting Samaje go was a little disappointing. I think if you would have gone back a year ago at the Super Bowl, we probably would have maybe had different feelings about Samaje, but we've seen his value. And I'm not saying this guy's going to step in and block like him.
I'll throw this out there. Okay. Because we were willing to at least match that. And for us, like, giving a running back $4 million, Gio, we were asking him to take a pay cut when he was making $4 million. That's when he left our team. But, would you feel better now if we kept Samaje, okay, let's just say Samaje, Chase Brown, Travion, or Mixon, Chase, Travion. Because I think that we might have got rid of Mixon a lot easier if Samaje was brought back. Like, I think that was because there was just, that was out there so much, you know. You're not going to pay him this much, not going to do this, not going to do that. And they would have cut him, and they would have designated a post June 1, and they would have saved $10 million against the cap. And then, you know, that like 4 of that, 3.5 to 4 of that would have went to Samaje. And I think they wouldn't, I don't think Mixon would be here.
Yeah. What's Joe owed? 9.5? I think Joe's owed $9.5 million.
It's like 12.5, 12.6.
Is it that high?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the next 2 years, even.
Yeah. So it all depends on what the Bengals are going to do with it. The Bengals are historically loyal to their guys, which when you talk about guaranteed money, the Bengals ain't guaranteeing this much money, but you see your contract out. A lot of teams typically. So I think that holds weight in the locker room. It's a good thing. I think Joe Mixon is a good team guy. He's a good guy to have around the locker room. He's the hype guy.
He's a good leader too for this team.
Yeah.
But what would you feel better about though if we re-signed Samaje and Joe wasn't here right now? Because I almost feel better that Joe's here with Chase.
I wouldn't feel better. Now it depends on what we do with that money. If there was a way to allocate that in a different direction.
That $8 million went to I don't know.
Dalton Schultz or Mike.
There you go. That's a good. And you had Irv Smith, because I think Irv Smith's going to break out. Like, I am so excited. But there's no reason you couldn't bring in Irv Smith for $2 million and a Schultz for 8, you know, or 7 or 6 or whatever he got. It was ridiculous.
I would feel better with that. I'd feel great with a Schultz or a Gesicki
and
put them on a 2 or 3 year contract. Because I don't know if they both signed for a 1 year, but that they didn't get paid anything crazy. So
they were both 1 year deals. It was like 6.5 with incentives to 8 or something, and Gesicki's was like 3.5 with incentives to 6 or something like that. Yeah.
So if you're looking at Dalton Kincaid and you're looking for an athletic tight end, you could have got that.
That's what I didn't understand when that came out after the draft.
Yeah.
That they were in on Laporta and they were in on Kincaid. I was like, why weren't they in on Gesicki? That doesn't make sense to me, because I understood it not being in on him if you wanted the all-around tight end, if you wanted a Mayer, you wanted a Tucker Kraft. Like, that's why I was like zoned in on those guys more than the others, because I'm like, well, it seems like that's what the Bengals would want. Why else? Otherwise, why wouldn't you go for a Gesicki for $3.5 million for a year? But then that's what they did. Irv Smith is more of a pass catcher, but he can block too. But I don't know, man. I think Irv Smith, if that man stays healthy, he's going to have a huge season for this team.
Yeah, I believe in the dude. In health, you can't predict it. You know what I mean? Crazy things happen. Tyler Eifert, 13, 14 touchdowns, a beast. That dude's career could have been totally different if he could have stayed healthy. And I like Irv Smith, and why would anybody not want him to do good? Why would you put that out there? Like, I see it all the time. People are putting stuff like, "Oh, Irv Smith, you know, injury prone, all this." Dude, he's got a lot of potential.
People want to be proved right in the Twitterverse and all this stuff, man. People, even if it's like, I want to be right, and it's like me, you know how I am about Drew Sample, right? It's almost a running joke at this point.
Yeah.
But I hope Drew Sample goes out there and catches the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, I'm manifesting that almost.
Yeah.
Dude,
I love it.
Like, why would I want to be like, well, I was right. He sucks. He dropped the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. Why would I get joy out of being right in that situation?
Exactly. Well,
I'd rather be wrong and we won the Super Bowl. And I could be like, Everyone make fun of me about Drew Sample, please. We just won the freaking Super Bowl.
Dude, 100%. And I feel like as Bengals fans, we're so accustomed to just being subpar and having these things that a lot of fans are like, okay, I can win by having these maybe negative thoughts or comments in because we're used to things not always going our way. So I don't know if that's a part of it. I don't care, but because I would rather be positive. I'm 32. I was born in 91 February. I'd never seen a Bengals playoff win my entire life until 2 years ago. And I stuck with that team. Being a dude from Central Ohio, I don't have all my friends were Pittsburgh fans and Cleveland fans, bro.
Bro, I'm 2 hours away from Cincinnati. You know that. I'm Southern Ohio, but it's 2 hours away from Cincinnati. So it is not like there is way more Steelers fans and Browns fans than there is Bengals fans around here. But you know what's funny? Probably even where you live too. That's starting to change.
It's changing quick.
You walk around, it's like, oh, I've heard him wearing it. Oh, I'm aware of this my whole life.
Yeah, dude. I walked into Roosters the other day, and this dude, he was sitting kind of like by the bar at Roosters, and you walk in to like check in. He's like, it was around the draft. It might have been like a couple days after the draft. I went and worked out. I had a Bengals hat on and a Bengals shirt. And I walked in there to pick up an order, and he looked over. He was with a couple guys. He was an older dude, and he's like, "That's a real fan right there." And it's probably thinking, off season, what's this dude doing with this? And I just kind of looked at him, kind of waved and smiled, and was like, "Yeah, dude, I am." But
bro, that's 75% of my wardrobe now is Bengals. Like
there was
always a lot.
Yeah, there were so many times I did that. For years, I had a hat on, had a T-shirt on, and it's just like any other thing. Everyone doesn't think about it, but now that we're doing good, people just randomly recognize it. Oh, that's a
who they man. They start talking to you about the Bengals. Like I'll be at Kroger's, my local Kroger. Before people be looking at you because they're wearing something Steelers, and they look at you all that side eye. You get that side eye.
Yeah.
Now it's like, who they man? Joe Burrow.
Dude, yeah, it's so different. I was in Destin, Florida last year, down there on vacation. Had a Bengals shirt on, walking to the beach. So people, it started talking to us like, oh yeah, from Ohio, and like I forget where they were from, but like they're starting to recognize it, and there's a respect that's getting gained, and I love that. But that's what makes this even sweeter is being there for the hard times, being there through the average times year after year, seeing.
I just need one, man. That's what I tell everybody. I just need one. And people are like, "No, we got sustained. We're going to win multiple Super." I'm like, listen, that's cool. I hear you. I just need one. I need just one Super Bowl because I feel like, man, that video has been floating around again. Of that non-pass interference on Logan Wilson on Twitter.
Oh, it's going horrible.
Broken my heart again and again these past couple weeks. I'm like, because I know then it was fourth down, and there's no way they're making a play because that's what we had done every game on fourth down.
Walked them down.
We ended it, and it's like we had one. We had one, and I think last year was like, okay, we were good. But it's tough to come off of that. That's why I feel so confident this year that we are going to win it. Because you see Burrow out there fully healthy. You see him out. I mean, the dude's always looking great, but he's got the headband on. Now he's doing his thing.
Dude,
but he's going to get a full offseason in of practice. He seems like he could go out there right now and win a game by 20. Put up 400. Like the whole team, just you're missing Jonah being there, and then who's the other one that wasn't there? Cheeto, who's rehabbing.
He was there.
It's like, right.
He was there.
He's around. That's what I mean. He's around.
Yeah.
He's just rehabbing, and that's okay. You can go rehab with your people,
Yeah. I think, dude, I hate saying like this is the year kind of thing. But the team has experience. They're a young team.
I never say it, dude. I never say it. And I try to temper expectations when they're high. Like last year when everybody's like, we're going to be 8-0, we're going to be 12-0. That was a thing because the schedule was easier in the first half of the year. And I'm like, you all are being too positive. You're doing too much right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, the Super Bowl hangover is real. And like, I can't explain it. Like, then the first half of the season, that's how it worked out. Like, but it's a feeling, and it's a feeling I have again. And maybe I'm completely wrong. And then I'll just stop having feelings after this. I'll be dead inside when it don't happen. But I have the feeling that this is the year. Like, and I never have said that. Like, you always say, oh, next year's the year. Like, that was a running joke for, like, the Bengals are going to win a playoff game, basically.
Yeah.
But, anything less than a Super Bowl championship, orange and black confetti coming down in February is a disappointment this season.
Bro,
I'm telling you.
Imagine that feeling. Imagine that. Like, I dream of it, bro. It's crazy. Like, I can vividly see that. And I honestly thought when we was playing the Rams, I was like, dude, this is it. Like, Joe Burrow, like, I don't care. Joe Burrow in those situations, it's different. That team's different. And they're young. Like, they're still so young and have this team of wide receivers. This team, you have linemen that won multiple Super Bowls.
But they're veteran. Like, you got like T and Chase who have been through, they've been in AFC championships, they've been to Super Bowls, but they're like 23 and 24 years old. You know what I'm saying? You got a young veteran team. If that, like, you always hear that, and it's like, that don't make no damn sense.
How many of our offensive linemen have rings? We got 3 offensive linemen with rings.
Yeah. Yeah.
They know something, right?
Teddy has 2. Brown has 2. Right?
1.
Did he only have the 1? I couldn't remember. I thought,
he might have.
He might have 2. I don't know.
Yeah, if this was live, I could do what you do.
And Kappa had another one.
Yeah, and we got Kappa. So 3/5 of our offensive line all have Super Bowl titles. Like, there's so much more to this team. We have the veterans that we need that know how to get there. We got young guys that have been there. It's coming. It's got to. And I'm excited for it, man. It's going to be a fun year. I think that we're going to start off. We got 2 AFC North games off the rip. What happened last year? Last year was rough.
Mm-hmm.
2 tough losses. It is this year. I think the team's going to remember that, remember what it did.
And if they can go to Cleveland and they can put the smackdown and shut their whole fan base up, number one, that's amazing.
Yes, sir.
And then we go on my birthday. We host the Ravens, our home opener. And if we beat the Ravens too, like, so I mean, 2-0 in the freaking AFC North off the rip, like, dude, it's like, we're here.
Look out. Yeah.
We're coming for that number 1 seed. Good luck when we host the playoffs. Because you were there. You were there for that Bills game. The atmosphere was insane, dude. To this day, still, I've been to multiple playoff games. I've never seen anything like that in the jungle. That Bills game was off the charts before that injury.
Yeah, dude, it was so wild. In most of the games, I'm not a season ticket holder. I've mentioned it before. So I've been to a decent bit of games, but my games are selective that I go to. Never have I been to a game like that Bills game. When we went in that stadium, it was they were playing some Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares, bro. And I just remember just singing and just having the time of my life. And it was so it was wild. Even the playoff game against the Ravens, man, it wasn't
the same.
It wasn't the same. It was different. And I wish the injury never happened, obviously. And if the injury didn't happen, I think we blow them out. And I think we take that momentum. And I think that was a big shift I'm not saying it affected us during the AFC Championship game, but
It really did.
but
That's why we went to Buffalo. We beat them. Like it was just, man. KC came down to the wire again, and a couple calls here and there. And unfortunately, we probably weren't going to get home field advantage either way because Kansas City won out. So that's why that's why I was never like, at the end of the day, Kansas City won out, so they were going to get home field advantage. Whatever. Still had to go through and beat them. But man, I would love
to host that.
To be hosting a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Like,
yes, sir.
And it's the I think I'd rather it be the Chiefs at this point because they got one coming now.
Yeah, dude, it'd be insane. I honestly can't even imagine what it would be like because that the Bills game was a different level, but the AFC Championship in Cincinnati
against like the Chiefs,
dude,
or the Bills, or it doesn't matter.
It don't matter who. Bring anybody.
Aaron Rodgers, the Jets, whoever.
Dude, so I do have a question for you, Dale, because I know you got a show coming up, and I don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah, I was going to try to at least cut a little grass, but, man, I ain't going to have no time.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Everybody, go show Dale love. When this is cut loose, tell the dude he's awesome because he is awesome. Let him know. What do you think Joe's numbers are going to be at the end of the year? Yards, touchdowns.
I said it the other day on Twitter. I said he's going over 5,000 for the first time. He's going to have 45 tutties. His completion percentage is going to be 73%, and he's going to win his first NFL MVP.
Let's go.
And our record-wise, I'll just go ahead and say that too. I still think it's like 13-4. But and then
that's where I was at.
But it's coming through us.
Yep.
13-4, we're gonna make it work because we're gonna beat the teams that we need to, like the Bills and the Chiefs. We're gonna beat them in the regular season and have those tiebreakers. Okay. So we'll blow some games here or there that we shouldn't. That's the NFL. The Jaguars, they'll have everything to play for when it's their Monday night game in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. Like that's gonna be one that we're like, man, it's Monday Night Football, but we lost it by 2 points or something, know. But it's just going to make us mad.
I can still see them blowing them out too.
No. I know every game I feel that way, but that's what I'm saying. I'm just going to say there's always and pick whatever games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
13-4, and 13-4 is really good. Like that's what I mean. Like, don't think that's a bad prediction. That's a good prediction.
No, I think it's good. That's why I predicted on your show.
13-4. We win the ones that matter. We had the tiebreakers, and they all got to come to the jungle.
Yeah, baby.
And then we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to Vegas. We're watching Jackpot Joey dice up whoever. You want it to be Jalen Hurts? Who do you want it to be? Because we're going to dice you up in the Super Bowl, and we're going to win that Super Bowl. We're going to hoist that Lombardi. We're going to see Jamar Chase crying on stage, Joe Burrow with a cigar on stage. Like, I'm that dude. Zach Taylor over there, like, oh, this is real cool. I'm a farm boy from Nebraska. That's the scene, and that's what's going to happen.
I see it.
It's going to happen, and it's going to be glorious.
Dude, it's going to be. It's going to be. I love it. Love the energy, Dale, because our visions are the same. Just like our draft ideas, they're right there.
Hey.
So what are we going to finish in the AFC? Because I think last year we all finished 3-3. Now
the AFC North?
The AFC North.
I'll say 5-1. I'll say somehow we blow one we shouldn't. 5-1.
5-1. Yeah. And do you think that'll be because I feel like we have
It'll be something stupid. It'll be like Pittsburgh. It'll be like Pittsburgh gets us on their home field or something stupid.
Okay. Because I feel like we have to beat Baltimore at home week 2.
Yeah.
I feel like I think we will win. But I feel like that's a must win because that's a primetime game in Baltimore.
Or we're 5-1, and the one is Cleveland at the end of the year when we're resting all our starters because we already locked up the home field advantage. We're 13-3, and that's how we get to 13-4 because we don't need to even play anybody that game.
Preach, brother, preach. So on the previous episode, we did a schedule breakdown. On the schedule breakdown, I had us going 5-1, and I said I could easily see us going 4-2, but I think we'll be 5-1.
Yep.
Could I be wrong? I could be. We could be 6-0. But
That's right. That's the only way. You're wrong.
But
It's not going to be 3-3.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm very excited for it. I'm very appreciative of
Hey,
you coming on
you
here, Dale.
get this up and rolling, man. We can do these whenever you want, brother.
Dude, we'll do them all the time. It was a great
Especially
show.
during the summer. I got no life during the summer. I cut grass and wash dishes and clean the house, man. And I do
Hell
shit.
yeah.
Summer break. You think it's
Living the
fun?
dream.
No, you just cleaning. You're the house business. So
Yeah,
I didn't say the word there.
I know. You're doing good, man. I'm impressed. I really am. I was
Pretty good.
Dang, dude.
I don't think there was any F-bombs.
At the very beginning.
Did I?
At the very beginning, I started laughing because I'm pretty sure you dropped one, and maybe you corrected yourself, but that's why I started laughing at the very beginning.
I mean, I was saying freaking and everything else. Like I was going out of my way to not say one, and that's what I mean. Like it's so like subliminal. Like I don't even know.
So if you guys don't know, we're trying to keep this kind of a PG-13 show. Not for any big reason, but
no, man. People have families. You want your family to watch it. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. So, no, I fully understand it, and I knew the assignment, and I tried really hard. So I apologize to anybody that watched it, and if I did say, I'm gonna have to watch it back where I did it. You're gonna have to clip where I did the F-bomb.
I'll clip it for you, buddy.
Because I didn't remember doing the F-bomb.
Yeah, so we're trying to keep it fairly clean, just so it's a show for everybody. And if you know anybody in the military, some of us can have filthy mouths, and me cleaning my mouth up is a bit of a challenge, and I'm pretty good at watching my mouth and language on certain groups of people that I'm around. And when me and Dale start talking, sometimes things come out that wouldn't be PG-13. So we're trying to keep it fairly clean. Dale, once again, man, I appreciate it. I know it can be difficult, man.
I tried really hard. I can't believe I dropped the F-bomb. Like I don't even remember it.
I can see the wheels turning in his head sometimes. He was talking and just being like, forget you, darn. Oh darn.
Yeah, I just darn it. Yeah. Crap. I said crap one time.
But yeah, we're trying, fellas. We're trying. Dale, I appreciate you, man. If you guys aren't following Dale, you should be. You're wrong if you're not. Go to Bengals and Brews. Give him a follow. Give him a follow at Dale Altman. If you want to tag your stuff, man.
Is it really 88 degrees out? Do I want to go push mow right now, Dusty?
Dude, I got more questions. We can keep going, bro. Because I'm about to weed eat.
No, we're like, no, I got that at 3:30 anyway, so maybe
yeah. Dale's got a big show.
I got to re-up anyways.
He's got a good guest coming on, so catch him. I know this is going to be out way before.
That's what I was going to say. I can't even be like, hey, check the shit, because hey, you guys just got to get it. You got to put out the episodes, and then you'll get caught up. But hey, I love you, Dusty. I know that you guys are going to do big things with this. And the other guys like Tony, I met you. Look forward to meeting you. Looking forward to meeting your other buddy. Man, you guys you put out the shows. You have fun with it. Big things will happen. Bengals Army, baby.
Heck yeah. I appreciate you. And I appreciate you guys, my future followers. I appreciate you. And
like right now, we're not talking to anybody, but we're talking to the future people. We're going to the people
in the future. Dude, you guys are going to love it. This is a show for the fans, by the fans. So we're going to do something similar to Dale. Learned a lot from the guy. Try to do some pop-up shows where people can come on, voice opinions, have fun. This is all for fun and spreading positivity, right? So when things go bad, this is still an outlet. We're going to have a good time. So might not know you guys yet, but I love y'all, and I love you, Dale.
Love you guys.